Welcome to Storyline Saturday, where we will be taking a deep dive into the storyline of Harry Potter Wizards Unite, looking at all of the research and taking a peek inside my research journal, which is starting to take over not just my mind, but also my house.
We don't know. All we got are suspects. My job, find out who.
This has been a series that I've wanted to cover for quite a while, and it's been difficult trying to figure out what kind of format I wanted this series to be. This week, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the prequels of Wizards Unite, which is in actuality just the trailers that came out before the game actually launched. So we're going to go back and take a look at all of those. Whew. Two big things that we're going to be hitting on today is going to be the London 5 and Grim Folly. We're not going to take a huge deep dive into either of those, but we're going to start taking a look at what these two big players of, well, I guess 6 big players of Wizards Unite are. The first trailer came out on November 14th, 2018. The day before, the website for Wizards Unite had finally been updated with the new logo as you see it today. I did a deep dive into this trailer along with every single one of the trailers we're going to be covering today, so if you want to check that out, make sure to go check out the link to the playlist of all of these videos, because I did a lot. This is our first introduction to the threat clock, which tells you what level of threat that the traces are in Wizards Unite. This is also our first appearance of Constance Pickering, as she is the one who signs off on the Repello Muggleton seal. We see this symbol for Avada Kedavra all over the place. It's everywhere. As we now know it, it is the symbol for spell energy in Wizards Unite, but this is also the glyph that you have to trace when you cast Avada Kedavra, or the Killing Curse. And then of course we have the...
If you guys are looking at the numbers in the camera.
Yeah, as it turns out, the numbers never meant anything. I'm a little salty about that, not gonna lie. We see our witch cast Immobilis on the snitch so it stops wigging out and crashing into everything. And at this point in time, we had zero idea what any of the storyline for the game was going to be about. So these were our first clues. Yeah, there's also a port key.
We put a port key boot in the teaser trailer.
A few people were like, what is that? It's really hard to see. It looks like a sock. Yeah, it was the boot. We also saw with this the launch of the new Wizards Unite website. If you want to take a look at that, how it was during the pre-launch of the game, it's under the SOS Task Force section of the website as it stands now. We had no idea what this clock meant. We knew that it was similar to the one in Makuza. We didn't know it was going to be a gameplay mechanic as well. This is also where we get the first mention of the Calamity. Originally, the paragraph read, "Please resist the urge to panic. Traces of magic are appearing across the Muggle world without warning and in a rather chaotic manner. We worry it is only a matter of time before even the most incurious Muggles catch the wind of it. We call on all witches and wizards to help contain the calamity or risk the worst of times, since you know who. Brush up on your spells, get your wand ready, and enlist immediately." And it has actually been changed since then. Our sole purpose is to return magic that has spread across the Muggle world. We need magizoologists, professors, and aurors to save the wizarding world from the calamity. If you've the reflexes of a nimbus, the vision of a seer, and the knowledge of a pensive, you're just the sort of wizard we're looking for. The next trailer aired on December 20th of 2018. This one was labeled as trace number 74. This is where we get our first Matilda Grimblehawk cameo. She is the one who signs off on the Repello Muggleton seal. These information cards gave us a clue as to how the registry was going to be laid out in the future game. All of my predictions were completely wrong. No, there were no Yetis involved. But my guess on gesture-based spells was definitely correct, as we could see the glyph being laid over the Nimbus 2000 in the card at the very end. This introduced us to foundables and foundable families as they were going to be laid out in the game. This also let us know that somehow Matilda Grimblehawk was going to be involved. At the time, she was only involved in the Fantastic Beast Cases game, and that was the only mention we had of her so far. Trailer 3 aired on February 14th, 2019. It was trace number 102. Our information card gave us Constance Pickering logging the trace and Repello Muggleton being signed off by Matilda Grimblehawk. It's incredibly terrifying to me how the Ministry keeps pulling all of this footage. I don't like it. hits all the nope buttons, thank you. My guess as to what this particular charm is with the E was, of course, completely wrong. It's a Bulio, not Fenestra. And then the Niffler proceeded to run across the world, wreaking havoc on all of the WooTubers as it went, including myself.
Oh, you came to the wrong state, Niffler. Where's the coffee? Where am I? Niffler!
I'm still salty about my coffee press.
Yo, shoot.
Trailer number 4 aired on May 3rd, 2019. Trace number 146, once again logged by Matilda Grimblehawk. The snitch in this instance is mistaken for a Jianzi, which is a little bit like a cross between badminton and hacky sack. It is an ancient game played in China. Here's a cool thing. I was right about the date because, I'm so pleased with this, the snitch ran into a basketball that was off in the corner. And what was happening with the NBA? It was the draft announcements, and those happened on June 20th.
Calling all wizards. This is your ministry.
Trailer number 5, also known as Calling All Wizards, aired on May 14th, 2019, and this was the longest one we'd had by far, and it was packed with Easter eggs. It was bonkers. I did a frame-by-frame breakdown of this particular trailer, so if you want to check that out, link is also in the description, but we're gonna pull some things in particular out of that trailer. The first is a confidential document that shows up. Obviously, it has been redacted, and most of the body of the document has actually been cut out. It is then sprinkled throughout the trailer, along with the sketches of various foundables all through the trailer. Myself, Sylph, Wizardway Chris, Brita, and a couple of other people all put all of that together. And we translated all of these things. They were in various languages, and it reads as follows. Dear Kingsley Shacklebolt, confidential, please reply without delay. Since the incident last night, we have been inundated with owls from ministries across the globe, asking what on earth has happened and who is responsible for this calamity we now find ourselves in. We must prepare our official response to update the wizarding community as soon as possible. So you can see the extent of this concern, please see the following owl messages quoted verbatim. The French Ministry of Magic, without wanting to propagate baseless conspiracy theories, we wonder if there is a link with the London Five. Have there been any recent developments in the investigation? The Spanish Ministry of Magic says, are the rumors true that the man responsible was married to one of the London Five? Japanese Ministry of Magic says, this kind of big trouble would not have happened if there was no use of an ancient, dangerous magic. What sort of method did your member of the ministry use to view the forbidden text? This isn't our fault. Chinese Ministry of Magic. We congratulate this unspeakable person for their quick mind that also performed a counter curse. May we bring up to you guys the detailed information we provided him so we can send an owl. And the Italian Ministry of Magic, they are already reporting that the counter spell is very unstable. It seems that the things implemented to control the incident are not sufficient in the long term. All of this communication is highly sensitive. Please destroy this post haste. Yours truly, Matilda Grimblehawk. We've seen from the trailers that the calamity is in fact a global problem, and it seems that the ministry is taking a spearhead in this. We also know that the Japanese ministry has had some kind of trouble and is involved in some way. We also know that the Italian Ministry of Magic is advising that whatever they're trying to do to stop the calamity isn't actually working. Yeah, we figured that out, guys. Then later on in the trailer, we get a flat lay of documents that only shows up for about 6 frames. We're gonna read them around, so first we get a newspaper clipping. London 5 is still missing. It's a report that the investigation into the London 5 has been closed unexpectedly and suddenly. We also have a love room entrance log. Grim Folly going into this room at very odd times, still signing in, and we also have someone known as Regina Roll going in at one point, along with the cleaning man and Gareth green grass. We have a letter from the Spanish Ministry of Magic again that is basically saying, why is the ministry the boss? Why are they leading this? And then also a letter from the Japanese Ministry of Magic. This is courtesy of Dead Drop. Yesterday afternoon, Grim Folly was visiting the Ministry of Magic. His behavior was so suspicious. He asked to see confidential document, but it was rejected because he did not follow official approved procedure. It was unforgivable acts as officer of Ministry of Magic. We need detailed, polite report from him. They couldn't quite see what it said exactly, so they have put it as confidential document. I'm guessing that it's actually a book, considering everything else that we know. We also have a witness transcript from the desk of Matilda Grimblehawk. The person who is being interviewed is not stated, however, the person conducting the interview is again Constance Pickering. I'm guessing this is actually Grim. I thought at first it was Matilda, but no, I think she's the one who's transcribing, and Constance is the one who is performing the interview. Insert clip of me reading it here. Where were you on the morning of the incident? Matilda replies, it was a very normal morning, really. Let's see. I replied to a flock of memos, sent a couple of owls, nothing particularly eventful. The office started raining again, probably around mid-morning. So I nipped off for a quick pumpkin juice. How did you end up at the love chamber? Well, I'm not sure. I must admit it's a tad on the fuzzy side, but I'm certain I was there on official, important business. It's just at this point in time, I can't tell you precisely what that business was. We also have a ministry memo to Constance Pickering from Hermione herself. She doesn't even have to put her last name in here because everybody just knows who she is. And then lastly, we have a note from Grim Folly. He's talking about Nell, he's very distraught, and then at the very end of the note it says, maybe Prague will give me the answer I seek. And then underneath that is a rubbing. This is a detective technique where you can take the flat of a pencil that was on a notepad and you can see what was written on the page above it that may have been torn away. The rubbing reads, they love most and least in the, it might be late, it might be oist, it's very difficult to read.
Future editing, Zoe. I might have busted this. I've been looking at this thing for the better part of over a year and I still couldn't figure out what it says, but now that I'm looking at it here, I think it says they love most and least into time, and then I still can't read that last thing. It might be light, it might be, I don't know, into time. Maybe I'm seeing things because I've been staring at this journal page for over a year.
¿Qué es esto?
Trailer number 6 aired on May 21st, 2019. It is trace number 234. Matilda Grimblehawk is the one who signed off on Repello Muggleton. You just gotta feel really bad for that shop owner. Trailer number 7 with the Hippogriff aired on May 22nd, 2019. As you can see, these are coming out in very quick succession now. It is trace number 321. Myra Curio is the one who signs off on this one, and it's in Japan. Trailer number 8 is Three-Headed Dog, and that aired on May 23rd, 2019. Trace number 212. This is actually before the Monstrous Book of Monsters, or a trace logged in sequence before that, so I'm guessing this was supposed to air before that one. I don't know what happened there. Sounds like he gets stuck, but there is a small Easter egg. For just a few frames, we see a slide of snowdrops, and that's all it is. It's just snowdrops. We know that it's an ingredient in the game, but it might be even more significant to the story than we think. Again, this is signed off by Myra Curio.
The Muggles cannot become aware.
And then the last one, which aired on June 7th, 2019, is the game intro trailer. There's quite a few things in here as well. You see newspapers mostly, the first of which, Hogwarts wins crucial showdown, Voldemort defeated, Hogwarts heroes join ministry, a new era of peace, it's never been better. You see an ad for the Weasley Wizard Wheezes, and then you see the London 5 get brought in. This keeps being brought up, and so it's a very key part of the game that we need to focus on. You see a crime scene with clothes and things scattered around. Questions are the 5 alive? Someone saying, I don't care, find them. We must protect the statute of secrecy. The Muggles must not become aware. So that is the intro to the game. Those are the things that it hits on first. These are all very important. So the London 5 seems to be the instigation of whatever calamity has occurred.
Expecto Patronum!
Was that? No way.
And then we had the game launch trailer, aired on June 18th, 2019, and oh my gosh. This mostly gave us an idea what the gameplay was going to look like and got us very, very hyped up. There was a couple of things that we saw in there that was mostly just gameplay related. There wasn't a whole lot as far as storyline, other than her conspiracy wall. Basic storyline breakdown. The calamity is making magical things more visible to Muggles, and we need to put a stop to it. The London 5 were a group of people who disappeared, and the investigation was mysteriously closed before there was any closure for the families. Nobody knows what happened. The London 5 are Penelope Folly, Rhea Patel, Timothy Hale, Kit Gerard, and Genevieve Blatt. 4 of the 5 were ministry employees. It's unclear who was other than Penelope. Grim Folly has not been okay since his wife disappeared. Grim Folly went to Prague and Japan to find the answers that he seeks, and had an obsession with going into the love room in the Department of Mysteries, and was going in at odd times at night. Specifically, the love room is a room in the room of rooms that holds possibly a fountain of Amortentia potion, and Amortentia potion is incredibly dangerous. We will be covering Amortentia and the love room in another time. We are going to just wrap up everything with our 3 questions that we need to ask. Who started the calamity? Well, it's looking at this time like Grim Folly, though spoiler alert, don't get too attached to that. As things have progressed over the year, we have actually seen that is not the case. So 2, why did the calamity start? It appears that it is a revenge plot, possibly initiated by Grim Folly, but again, don't get too attached to that. All we know is that somehow the London 5 possibly triggered it. We don't actually know. All we know is that Nell and Grim are somehow attached to it. We don't know about the other London 5 families and if they could be attached to it at all. 3, how do we stop it? Well, we actually have no idea at this point in the storyline how we are going to stop the calamity. I'm talking about just with these prequels. I know that there's more information that comes down the road, but we're going to take it step by step by step. If you have theories about how everything started and what's going on, I suggest you go and join the underground. This series is going to be relatively theory-free, or as theory-free as I can make it. I'm just going to give the facts and the research as much as I can. If you are interested in theorizing with me and Lynette from over at Wizard PhD and doing all of that fun stuff, so if you want to come and theorize with us, go join the underground. It is a Discord server. Link is in the description, so come and hang out with us. We're having a lot of fun over there. So there you go. That's Storyline Saturday. I'm over here because this is now an end card. Yay! Thank you very much to all of my patrons for hanging out with me on Patreon and doing all of the cool things. Hey, guess what? YouTube thinks that you're gonna like that video and this video down here, all of that playlist of trailers that I was talking to you about, where I go over all of these, so you should go and check that out and all that good stuff. I don't really know. Gotta fill up 30 seconds, so. Are you still here? Go home. Okay, love you always, bye.